Hello and welcome to another Synty Art Pack Challenge. This time we're going to do a little mashup of two Synty packs, the Kaiju pack and the Police Station pack. Shout out to Synty who were kind enough to provide these packs to us for free for this challenge. There's links in the description below to both packs on the Synty store. So the rules as always were to spend 48 hours making a game. They don't need to be consecutive and they don't have to use them all, but don't spend more than 48 hours total on the project. In this video we've got 4 developers including yours truly, so without further ado let's get into the challenge, and stay tuned to the end to hear what everyone thought of each of his games projects.
Hi everyone, it's Timps here from Game Dev Bits, and I think it's time for us to make something with some kaiju. So with the packs all picked out, it made the first decision an easy one. How big do I want these kaijus to be? I like the towering kaiju, but it feels a little cliche. I think we need to be a little smaller. There's still something not quite. We need to fit through a door. See, this feels better. We can fit through a door. There's a few more content options for the police station. I think this could really work. Although, hang on a second. It does lack a little something. I've got an idea. I know exactly what we need to do. A little further. Okay. That feels perfect. That's exactly what people expect, right? When you think kaiju, this is what you've got in your mind. Now, actually tiny kaiju would be a bit of a logistical nightmare, so instead we're going to make a large police station. But as you can see, I've scaled the wrong way. So instead what we want to do is make sure we're scaling from center and at local scale. Now when we scale up, everything will scale relative to one another, and we can easily lock things into place, and now we have effectively a giant police station. Next up, we're going to need a character controller. We only need something light and simple because we're working for a game jam here, so let's just go with the Synty animation pack and the default controller that it comes with. We'll just ramp up those jump powers a little bit so our kaiju can get a little bit of height, and I think this looks like it works. So with our kaiju on the move, it's time to get to the heart of our idea. We need a bunch of kaiju. Yeah. I think this will be great. We can move around together, and no, you know what? We can't all go at the same time. I need to find a way to switch between people. Hold on. Okay, so we've built a little controller that allows us to switch on command, and we'll turn off the other kaiju and their camera when we're not there. Alright, that feels pretty good. We can jump from one to the other. We can now get around the level. Still feels a little bit jarring. Hold on. So I think what we need to do is when we switch cameras, let's store the position the new camera is in, jump the new camera to the position of the old camera, and then lerp back to where we should be. And that'll give us a nice smooth transition. We passed through some stuff, but I think it'll get the job done. So because we're making a puzzle game, we're going to need an objective system. So I've built a tiny little script that'll allow us to assign a collider, give things a name, even tie objectives together so we can say that one needs to finish before the other one can be done. And then when you actually step on something and hit the switch, we'll send a signal out to another object. Okay, so let's test the switch, and perfect, we can get on and get off. Great. So now that our objectives work, let's position a couple of those around the level and actually make a level. And now I think that we've got some objectives, we're going to need some better materials, so it's a little more obvious when you get on and off, and we can get rid of this patchy police texture. So let's just take care of that. Now, character controllers can't interact with physics objects, so we'll just add a small script that allows us to add some force whenever we run into something, and now we can push objects as well. And I think that's everything we need to make ourselves a little puzzle game. So now we'll add ourselves a tiny little title screen, we'll tie some objectives together, and here we go, we have the Lost Kaiju, our little kaiju clone of the Lost Vikings, one of Blizzard's first games. We've got our objectives on screen, so you can see where you need to go next. We can switch freely between characters, and each of our kaijus moves in a little bit of a different way. And a little Easter egg for those who noticed it, the kaiju we've chosen are R, G, and B. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been an amazing time. I'll catch you all next time.
Hey there folks, my name's Jason Barlow, I'm from JBarlowTraining where we make Unreal tutorials, and this is the game that I made for the Game Jam combining both the Kaiju and the police pack together from Synty. So I started by looking at Rampage, and I really like this idea of tiny little people running around a city, the monsters destroying everything. You got helicopters that come in, explosives, drones and things, and I thought, yeah, this would be really cool if I maybe turn this into a 3D city, have the kaijus running around it, and hopefully, even have the kind of the destruction, the climbing, the ability to play as different monsters. So I started by looking at the Kaiju pack. I went through each of the different sample levels, and when I started I thought it was just 4 monsters. I thought that there wasn't actually going to be a lot in here, but you can see I was very impressed by all of these kind of different props. They're very basic, but there was helicopters, cars, trees, buildings, and even destroyed versions of those that are set up for the demo scenes. But actually when I started playing around with them, I realized that I'm not actually going to need to put in the city and the town packs in here to get all that detail. There was enough to actually get started with that. So I looked through each of the 4 different started ones. I thought about, actually where could these work into my game? Where could they be individual mechanics? So I had concepts, things for the planes, the jets. I thought about the helicopters, destroying the buildings. And it wasn't until I actually got into here and started having a look at each of these assets that I realised there's actually loads in here that I could use for it. So I ended up only using the Kaiju pack, and I was in the police pack. I needed to combine the police pack in, and it wasn't until I looked at all the vehicles I realised the vehicles and the people, that's what I'll go for. It would be great to maybe have my kaiju stomping around in this police station, but I kind of wanted to zoom out and have that kind of Rampage powerful view of my character just smashing things as they walk through. So I looked through all these and I kind of started just making a bit of a list of, these bits over here, these vehicles, let's start using those. And I did also want to use the bomb disposal robot. I wanted to have him and the drone fly in and drop bombs, but I never quite got that in there. So what I started doing then is actually getting my character playable, and what I found really early on is that the character, as a playable character, was using the third-person mannequin animations, and it kind of felt like a human in a suit, like a costume. So I started playing with the actual movement of that character and thinking, well, what would the camera look like? What would the controls look like? And once I got this kind of set up, and I didn't like the perspective, I actually changed that to orthographic. I actually brought in a different pack. I brought in these 41 animations for monsters pack that I had on Fab Marketplace, and putting these onto the character and making them move around, walk around and have the attacks, it actually started to feel a little bit more like an actual kaiju running around a city. You can see here it still feels at this point like I was using a human in a costume. So it wasn't until I got all those animations on there, started getting them running around the city, that actually started feeling good. So the next thing that I actually did then is started blocking out a couple of buildings. I changed the camera, went to orthographic, put some things in to destroy, and just started thinking about the actual kind of feel of this experience. What do I want the player to do? So I want them to walk around quite slowly and destroy things. Initially, I had the character rotating towards the mouse, and I tried to get some kind of easy keyboard controls, but it always felt a bit difficult. You can see here he's very kind of twisty and twirly. He's always spinning around to try and face that mouse, which in the end I got rid of because it just felt a little bit too kind of rotatable, and he's always spinning around. Everywhere he goes, he's always doing that. And I wanted to go back to that kind of arcade feel as well. So 2 buttons, Z and X, and just the 4 kind of analog and 4 directional keys to do that. So you can see here, I started thinking about mobile games and that kind of game loop of keep on going, keep on upgrading. And I wanted to think about the basic things I had. So health, damage abilities, and I did have a massive list of like 25, 30 different upgrades. But I went very simple first and just got a basic game loop. So I can die. And it wasn't until I actually started putting in things like this that I actually felt like the game, it felt a bit fun. This kind of concept of walking around, smashing things, seeing the damage numbers, the VFX, the stomp effects, everything started coming together and actually feeling like I was a big, powerful monster. I put some AI in there. One of the annoying things is I never got round to putting actual animations on the police officers, and actually in the final game the debug disappeared, so you don't actually see the police officers that are firing at you. I really need to get some kind of VFX effect or some line that's actually there, so you can see the debug there with the purple lines, and I really want them to have animations and particle effects as they fire. But they do start actually attacking you, and that meant, I actually had an opposition, I had an adversary, something that was going to try and stop me reaching my goal. The goal didn't feel very clear at that point, so actually I did go back in and I started adapting this, and you can see, I've now kind of got that main game loop. The enemies are running around panicked when you get near to them, you stomp them, you get loads of really cool visual stuff happening. But I really needed something, to show the player, like, what am I working towards? What's my goal, my objective? And that's where I started saying, well, each of these buildings, each of these people, let's actually kind of, give us something for destroying those. So the final game, when I did like a visual asset pass over the top of it, I added in all the destructible vehicles, and you can see they're very low detail because they're just the prop versions, but destroying stuff now gave you rampage points. And the idea was that you would just walk around, destroy as much stuff as possible. I had the police officers, but I also started adding in things like the police cars and the police vans. They'd arrive, they'd drop off more police officers, so you'd have kind of scaling difficulty. I only managed to get one level in the final thing, but I kind of anticipated that you'd start in a bit of a suburbs, you'd destroy loads of houses there, you'd learn how to move and walk around, destroy basic buildings, and you start leveling up, and every single time that you'd finish a rampage meter, you'd go to the end goal, destroy it, go through to the next area of the city, and buildings would get bigger, adversaries would get bigger. I could start adding in things like the helicopters and the planes. But that's my final game, and I hope you like it.
Hey everyone, this is MajorBatman. If you don't know who I am, I'm a tool creator on Unity. I've created 2 asset packs related to Synty Studios, the Character Enhancement Toolkit, as well as the Kit Enhancement Toolkit. And I was invited to participate in Dan's Game Jam, his challenge to see if we could come up with something that combines both the Polygon Kaiju pack and the Polygon Police Station. I fell in love with the Kaiju pack as soon as I saw it. 4 different monsters ready to tackle and create chaos. So I knew the Kaiju needed to be the centerpiece of this game, but what to do with it? So looking through the police station, I opened up the pack and kind of looked through different prefabs. So off the bat, we have a lot of vehicles here. I was thinking maybe there's something to do with this bicycle, perhaps like a paper boy as you're getting Kaiju chased, or some sort of you're in a truck and you're running down a mountain, kind of like a free ski. So that's kind of where I started with. But then I saw this drone, and I immediately thought of some way that while King Kong is battling away, you have this little drone that you're piloted in there to go check out and assess damages and stuff like that. So this is my game. I've now posted it on my itch page. Hope you can check it out. It is called Kaiju Snap. So it starts off with the menu. Created this cutscene using timeline. It was something I thought was pretty fun to do, and kind of set up what you're doing and why you're doing it. So the idea here being you have this camera, it can detect weak spots, and this is who you are. You're this criminal that's ready to do it for money. Okay, so you are a criminal with this super camera on you, and you are hanging outside the back of this van as it's being driven along. You can swap different sides of the vehicle, which I thought was kind of cool. I had created kind of a lerp there. Added some rigid bodies to the cars and stuff so that when you hit it, it activates and moves around. And then you have the camera mode. And so you pick up speed, you see the Kaiju there, you take pictures. The idea was I wanted something like this where the Kaiju's chasing you and you're kind of scared and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then, oh no, he just showed up right in front. And then you get to go home. Okay, so let's see a little bit of stuff behind the scenes, specifically maybe the timeline assets. So the intro scene is just a bunch of timelines. So you have different animations where they're tied to a specific character, and then I could just set different keyframes, and then it tweens automatically between it. So I just go, hey, at 5 seconds, I want him to be scratching behind his head, and he's scratching behind his head at 5 seconds, but the idea is slowly over time he's moving his hand behind him from here to here or something like that. Have different audio here. So what I did was I was the voice of this characters. I created each of the characters with my own voice. I thought it was kind of fun to do. And then the same thing with with my main level. So the idea here was I used Cinemachine's dolly tracks and splines to create the 2 different rotations. So we have the car that goes on a set path, and then we have the Kaiju and it goes on a set path. So there's not a lot of interaction. It's just a very like I said, a very tailored experience. But the idea was we combined the 2, and to sync them all up was a challenge for me. Yeah, so you can see here we have the different splines. So this is the van, and you can kind of see how it goes around here, around this building, comes back. And then I had to figure out how to make the van go reverse. And so I made it stop here and then swap over. And then I have a second spline container where it swaps to and then does the rest of the level. And so the same for the Kaiju path. So you can see how the Kaiju goes around, and you can kind of see how it jumps up and then goes down. So the idea being it jumps and does its things and then runs faster than it needs to. And so syncing all that up was fun. I did have a helicopter in the very beginning go and then crash, but it didn't save it, and so I didn't have time to put it back. Kind of the controls was difficult to figure out, because it's like, how do you go from one side to the other? If you're in camera mode, do you want to stay in camera mode? If you're zoomed, or what your position. And so there's definitely some tweaks and things that I could keep working on. The idea being maybe it expands. Maybe that the next thing is more levels. I was thinking we could do that bicycle level. We could do the same from the back of a helicopter with that King Kong that I was talking about. Maybe with the crab creature, you're on the back of a boat. And so the idea is to kind of create a more tailored version of Pokemon Snap. But then we can also throw in different elements where we make it do stuff. And so here you can select different pictures, select the best photo and then best weak spot, submit it, and then it gets scored in dollars, the idea being you're a criminal. Pretty cool for less than 48 hours worth of work and a couple different packs. I hope you check out my YouTube channel down below, or my tools, or hope to see you in some of the Discords.
So, as always with these challenges, the first thing to do is get the packs imported and start taking a look around. I really wanted to try programming a turn-based system, so that was my goal for these 48 hours, try to make some sort of turn-based game as a bit of practice. In the police pack, it comes with a little pre-made city layout, which I thought would be perfect for the Kaijus to go into. There's this nice little intersection bit in the middle where I could have the Kaijus facing each other, and then each could take turns attacking the other one. Because it was turn-based, I knew I could be a little more creative with the camera. Usually in turn-based games, you've got a really fun dynamic camera, and I decided to have my camera constantly moving around as if a helicopter news crew was filming the epic battle. Originally, I was going to go for a pixelated PS1 square sort of look with the UI on either side of the square. I proceeded this way for a little bit, but then I eventually decided to change it just to overlay with the screen. The biggest issue I faced during this project really was trying to figure out animations. I didn't want my Kaiju to look like people in suits. Luckily, Mixamo had some monster animations which did look okay, but then my biggest issue was just implementing them. I realised quite early on that one of my main weaknesses in game development is animations, and I spent quite a large chunk of time figuring out how animations actually work in Unity. I kind of realised that everything that I've made so far has either had no animation really, or it's just used some sort of tweening libraries so I could animate stuff programmatically. For the battle system, I implemented a very simple ability system, but I only had time to do basic abilities such as a flame breath, a swipe, and a heal, and each of my Kaijus had the same abilities. However, I designed it in such a way that if I was to carry on with this project, it's really simple to make more abilities and to give the Kaiju their own stats, such as their strength and their health and so on. All in all, I did achieve what I set out to do, which was to make a turn-based battle system, and I think it will form the basis of a new tutorial on this channel, which is quite good, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But with that said, thanks for watching my section, and let's jump into some of the dev reactions to the created games.
Hey folks, so I'm playing Dan's game now, which is a turn-based battling kind of game. Now, I really like this kind of camera that's flying around with the helicopter. There's a little bit of an affordance here, showing me which one of these characters that I'm actually in control of and giving me an indicator. Maybe having that bounce up and down or flash, maybe really show me who I am as I get into this game. But I really like this, you know, they're putting this in this city and fighting out. I've got no AP, so I presume ability points right now. One thing that I've noticed, I've played it once or twice, one thing that I've noticed is that the attack earns you an ability point. So essentially I'm going to attack, I'm going to do some damage, he's going to attack and he's going to do some damage, and it's basically the first one to get to 5, which because I went first it's going to be me. it would be really cool maybe to see a little bit of variation in the damage that is done. So, you think about like Pokemon, when you do an attack, you're not always going to do exactly the same amount of damage. It might have a little bit of value range to that. And just having a little bit of difference with these ability points. Maybe I earn 1 to 3, or maybe my ability points increase as I go through. But yeah, it's really cool. I love the kind of the potential for this. We could have, different kaijus, different monsters fighting, different abilities and different things they can do. Maybe they regenerate, maybe they do different types of attacks. But yeah, at the moment it's cool. It's just that it's got a little bit of a kind of limitation in that when I get to 5, if I don't breath weapon, they'll breath weapon me and then I lose. So yeah, it would be cool to have a little bit more of that in there, and then we could see how far this could go as an actual battling system. So I believe I've just got to do one more and I'll get my 5. Really cool. I mean, maybe put a bit of physics on that tail, and you'll be swinging it around in this city, and a bit of destruction on these buildings as we go around. But you ready? We're going to do our breath weapon. We can't get to heal because he'll breath weapon before me. And he's disappeared. But yeah, we could do that. Awesome. That's a really cool breath weapon attack. And yeah, we win. So really cool. Well done, Dan. Love that. Hey folks, so I'm playing MajorBatman's game Kaiju Snap at the moment. I'm going to press play, but it does have an intro kind of cinematic, so I'll let that play out and then carry on talking, just so I'm not talking over the audio. But it's pretty cool.
This thing, this camera, we finally got it. We can find its weak points.
I like that little TV that's changing with the security camera.
Close.
That's really nice.
Too close.
Ain't no way I'm going to walk in that kaiju's mouth, let alone take a picture. I like my limbs where they are.
Alright, TV's all gone.
I'll do it,
No idea why.
but I don't do charity.
That's cool. He's a cool dude. And I'm him. Alright, so my volume's on pretty loud. Let's just turn that down a little bit. And alright, so I can swap from one side to the other. That's pretty good. I can't really move my mouse or have any kind of controls for looking around, but I know that I have to press C to go into camera mode, which then gives me this ability here. And it's kind of cool. Okay, good. That's actually really cool because that car bounced back down like physics. Where is he? Now, I wish that kind of stayed in the camera mode as you come back in and out, but yeah, there he is. All right, we jump back and let's take some pictures. So 35's going down. I presume that means I've got more pictures to take. One of my favorite things about these kind of driving games is losing track of where you are the moment you go around a corner, having to reorientate yourself, which is a pain when you zoomed in. But all right, there we go. This feels like Jurassic Park being chased, and I'm Ian Malcolm. Probably should hide myself so I can't see inside my face. Oh no, I've lost him. There he is. Same moment. Oh god, I lost him again. Where is he? There he is. Zoom back out because I'm so zoomed in. There you go. And need to switch over to the other side. He's on the building. He's on the building. He's ahead of me. Alright, what's that red thing? What is that red thing? I've not seen that before. I don't have that on my model. Did he die? Cool. So what have we got? Select my best kaiju image. Maybe... I mean, that one with him on top of the roof's pretty cool, isn't it? This one where he's dead? Let's go with the one on top of the roof. Submit that. Pick your best weak spot. Do you think that's what that red thing is? He's got a weak spot there. Is that a weak spot? He's got a weak spot. Maybe that's the red thing. Let's submit that. Cool. So it's counting up. And I'm getting a score for something. Apparently how big he is. Maybe I should have took a picture when he's much, much closer, like when he was chasing me in the Jurassic Park scene. This would be cool if I had like a button just to skip through. But 1,000, maybe that's a maximum, or maybe I'm just very good at scoring round numbers. Yeah, that'd be cool. I like it. Waiting to see what the weak spot score is, because I want to know if that's a weak spot. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it just needs a little bit of polish on the controls for the camera. it's always just a case of, you're trying to control something to look out. Think of it like driving a car and shooting. If you go around a corner, you got to reorientate on your target. So maybe having some options to snap or follow the target would be cool. But yeah, $2,585. Pretty good. Awesome.
Kaiju Cash. Z/X grab. Ooh, it has a little sound effect on the UI. Ooh, that's kind of a cool little... I'm liking it. You got sound effects, you got music, you got FX, you have little characters walking around. It is a little difficult with the forward. It's like it's hitting something. Ah, that's why there's a cooldown. Oh, I died. Rampage. Alright, I mean, that's cool. I don't necessarily know. Oh, that was cool. I like the pop-up UIs. Ooh, man, I ate all those people. I don't necessarily know what the orange bar does. Oh, we got Rampage. So Rampage meter. What's this green? Alright. Oh, so the level's done. Okay. Nice. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like the little... Alright, so you got the camera, the helicopter viewpoint. I like this view of just circling them. And there's like a post-processing effect as well. Okay, so... Oh, we're just straight into the game. Okay. So let's do an attack. Okay, that didn't do much. Alright, so against an AI, I'm gonna use my breath weapon. Oh, can't do that. Let's use an attack. Oh, you got a little shadow here of the helicopter. That's kind of cool. I like the indication, right? You know which character is yours. Some differentiation between the two characters would be kind of nice. They both seem to have the same attack. So I build up the AP for each of the attacks. Maybe like a +1 AP for attack and -5 for breath weapon. Might be an interesting way to do it. That is a cool breath attack. I like the fire. Character died rather quickly. And I won. Kaiju 1, Kaiju 2. I do like this setup. it's like a fighting strategy type game, but from a viewpoint of a human or a helicopter. Kind of neat. Great job, Dan.
Okay, so first up we'll play a bit of Kaiju Snap. Let's make this full screen. So QE, swap sides, C, camera mode, space, left click, take photo, mouse wheel, pivot view. Okay, let's play this.
This thing. This camera.
Got a voiced cutscene.
Finally got it. We can find its weak points. We have to get close. Too close.
Ain't no way I'm going to walk in a Kaiju's mouth. Let alone take a picture. I like my limbs where they are.
I'll do it. But I don't do charity.
Amazing. How do I zoom in again? I forgot the buttons. Ooh, okay. I like how we've, two of us have gone for the camera perspective with our games. Oh, I saw it over there somewhere. Oh, that beast. Oh god, it's coming. Oh! Okay, I mean, wasn't expecting that. Okay, go back, reverse. This criminal. Oh, yeah, got a selfie then. Is that a weak spot on its back? Select my best kaiju image. I mean, that one was pretty cool. Look at that one. Submit photo. The best image of the weak spot. I guess that's that one. Not bad. Not bad at all. No, I really like the concept of that, and I like the kind of animation at the start, the fully voiced animation. Something I've not actually done myself is like play around with timelines and stuff, so yeah, well, very, very impressed. Okay, so next up is this one. I don't know which one this is. Kaiju Crash, was it? Ah, the puzzle game. Oh, I tell you, it's not this game's fault. I've just been getting really bad motion sickness recently playing games, and this is causing me to feel a bit woo. Wait, there's a kaiju outside of the window? Oh, there's a key there. Was there a way to change characters? Can I collect that key? Right, how do I swap characters? Scroll. G. Wait. Oh. They're the ones from the little intro he did. Okay. Oh, this one jumps well high. I like the concept of the kaijus being small. It's like a fun little twist, and it uses both packs quite well, which I do like. Oh. Knocked these ones over. There's a key here. Ah, okay. All objectives completed. Have successfully escaped, completed all levels. You know, I guess the kaiju's now free to roam around and cause some rampage, which goes into the next game. Okay, so I quite like the idea that this is thematically the next game in the series from, we've just escaped the police station, somehow grown big. How do I play? Z, X, okay. And now we're running wild. Improve base health, improve value. We're doing okay on health, let's go for damage. Okay, we've got another one already. Slash damage, yep, sure. Just keep that damage open. Well, I like the effects, and even the animations on the police cars arriving. Grab, cooldown. I haven't actually grabbed anything yet. What's the grab? Oh. I'm losing a lot of health. Oh no. Oh, I should have took the health upgrade. Was I on fire then? Are the police doing something? Is it just the police's gaze? Maybe I should go kill these police over here. Squish, squish, squish. Oh, it even says squish when I stand on them. Okay, okay. I've made up rampage. Okay. I enjoyed that. I thought that was quite good. Nice, nice like whole experience with full loop, which I quite liked. Okay, and there we have it. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check out all of the contributors' channels, which are linked in the description below, and be sure to check out the Synty store, which again is linked below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!